I thought maybe it was the end of the semester. Okay.
So
are you the acting interim director?
I am.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
I'm hoping that you become full-time.
Thank you. You're
no one's
welcome.
going to call me up and vote. I don't.
Well, you're welcome
if
to.
they do, I will.
Write anything you want.
I'm John. We've met before. I think you're Catherine. Nice to meet you. Hi, Christy. Nice to meet you.
Did you read everything?
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Brown, I did. I apologize. We had poor restaurant service. We couldn't get the bill. Couldn't get the check.
Read it closely.
Oh, I'd rather not stay.
I think they need to apply for this program.
They might. So, ladies, I have some paperwork for you, and this is the evaluation sheet. We're gonna work.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just need to know what.
These students, whether they get to graduate or not, is now in your hands.
I'm not at all worried.
This is an evaluation form, and you don't have to worry. You're not going to fill this out right now, because they're going to make their presentation, and then they're going to give you a plans book, and we want you to kind of go away and talk it over internally, because ultimately you have to pick the winner. The loser gets kicked off the island. And go ahead.
Will we be, we'll hear the first group and then the second group,
Yes.
and then we get together? Not after each season?
No, just, that's great.
And then fill out
We're
one.
going to have these back, and more than likely, you're going to do this sometime between now and over the weekend.
Oh, okay.
Because I need to get them, because we're meeting at 8 a.m., so I want to announce the winner, and I want to show, giving your feedback.
Sure.
Slow.
Okay.
But no, you'll have time to do that. Okay?
Got it.
So, just trying to think, and probably the best way to send those to me would be to scan them and send those a PDF and email to me.
So by Monday morning, is that when you wanted to have your?
Well, we actually meet at 8 a.m.
On Monday.
so
Okay.
I'll be in early, you know, so.
We'll get her done.
I know.
Just email it to them Sunday.
Sunday, that will work.
I'm sure you have nothing to do this beautiful weekend.
So we get my glasses. so I can-
Exactly.
You're going to do this first.
Sunday said that he had something.
Good call.
Oh, good. Okay.
Usually our marketing research instructor would be here as well, but he is.
Sorry to keep you waiting, gentlemen. You look very nice today.
Thank you. You do choose yourself.
They don't look like that every day?
No, they don't. Don't forget to smile. Okay? So, smile.
Every day.
You're having fun. We're having fun.
He's smiling.
All right.
We are recording.
We are recording.
Okay. Okay. All right.
You ready? Go.
All right. I'm Tony Zock. I'm a marketing major. I'm from Stillwater, Minnesota. I'm graduating in May 2013, and I plan to work for my mom after I graduate.
I'm Joe Beneke. I'm a marketing major as well. Graduating this May. I'm from Eden Prairie, Minnesota, and my plans after school are to teach English in South America.
I'm Chris Blake. I'm a marketing major and management minor from Superior, Wisconsin, and after graduation I plan to move up some big corporation, I guess.
And we are Creative Solutions.
Before we start out diving into the presentation, I just kind of want to tell you a little story about how we overall began this process. Walked into Professor Kretz's class, and first thing he says to us when we sit down, we all sat in the front row, he says, raise your hand if you're going to have more than 15 credits during the semester. All of us raised our hand. Then he asked us, if you're going to work more than 20 hours per semester, raise your hand. Once again, we all raised our hand. Then he said, if anything about an extracurricular activity, raise your hand once again. We all did. And he told us to leave if we raised our hand at least once. We then thought, this is kind of strange, like what professor says that? And he says that it's going to be too much time, you can't do it, you're not going to be able to do it with these other things going on. I don't know about you guys, but when someone tells me I can't do something, it just makes me want to do it more. So right away I was kind of like, oh, all right. I had a chance to talk to Tony and Joe, and they both said they felt the same way. So we decided to stick with the project. Came down to CED here, and we were the 7th selection to pick out of 7 businesses. There's 14 different teams. And going through, when we went to go pick, we looked up top, and there was Conservation Technologies, some towing company, and nothing we really liked. We got down to the UMD Alumni Association, and saw no one had picked them yet. We took great pride in our school, and we're like, well, what better fit for us? So we decided to select a group, and when we first met with you guys, you were real great with answering all our questions. We weren't really sure as far as what we were going to do during the project. There's going to be dues or whatnot. So you answered questions great, and then once we got into the research, then we really found 5 solid recommendations in our eyes that we think if you follow, you're going to turn out great. Turn it back over to Tony. He's going to tell you a little bit more about the company.
And we are Creative Solutions. And here at Creative Solutions, we are motivated by excellence in everything that we do. Sorry about this. We eat, sleep, and breathe our work. We are always searching for what, how, and why. We never quit, and we are never content with ordinary. For our executive summary, we'd like to increase traffic to the webpage by 10%. We will do this using social media, heavily focused on Facebook. We'd also like to create engagement to the University of Minnesota Duluth Alumni Association webpage and the Facebook page, and just the association in general. So what is IMC? Integrated Marketing Communications is the integration of all marketing communication tools, functions, and resources into a project that maximizes consumer interest and minimizes cost. Why is it important? It's important because it helps all parts of the business stay connected with reaching the target audience, connected and consistent. So I did some primary research for Sandeep's marketing research class, and it consisted of exploratory research of a focus group and a survey. For the focus group, we found that Facebook is unanimously the most popular social media site, and that our primary target market, or students, use it regularly. For the survey, we had almost 200 responses. 80% of the respondents were already graduated. 70% of the respondents use the internet for 2 or more hours a day. 90% of the respondents use Facebook regularly, which is why we're focusing on it, and 79% of the respondents are not aware of any benefits the UMD Alumni Association offers. So this was the primary research that most related to our campaign. I'll hand it to Joe for our situational analysis. Tony? Yep.
Okay. Situational analysis looks at the UMD Alumni Association and kind of does an overall assessment of their current situation. We see that University of Minnesota Duluth has an enrollment of 11,806 students as of 2011. We also know that there is an alumni base of 60,000 living alumni. 65% of these alumni live in the state of Minnesota, and 30% of those live in the Twin Cities metro area. Which brings us to the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. Never heard of them? They are down in the cities, and they are associated with the University of Minnesota Duluth, but the alumni associations are different, and we're going to get into that in our competitor analysis. The UMD Alumni Association does not charge dues, and we see this as a strength of the association. We worked with Jim Valletta, who's the business librarian, throughout our research, and he provided us with a study called the College Alumni Relations Benchmark, and it was a thick packet. It was a survey of 64 colleges nationwide, and it measured them on metrics ranging from ratios like this to communication efforts and things of that sort. We pulled this one from that book, and this measures the ratio of total alumni to the number of employees in the alumni office. And in the study, on average, for schools with an alumni base similar to UMD's, they had about 9,500 alumni per every 1 employee in the office. And when we look at the University of Minnesota Duluth, we see that we have about 15,000 alumni per employee in the office. So we're dealing with a little bit more than the average university as far as staffing to alumni goes. Additionally, we found that the percentage of alumni for whom the office has a working email address, in these schools in the study, about 28% of their alumni base had a working email address. And the UMD Alumni Association enjoys about a 58% percentage of good email addresses. So this is good. You guys are definitely on top of the pack there. So when we look at the Alumni Association and its strengths, we recognize that they are present on multiple social media channels and they have a well-built website. And so we commend you on that. That's very good. You guys are definitely ahead of the curve as far as alumni associations are concerned. We also see of your high good email percentage and that you don't charge dues, which means that there's a lower barrier to entry for participants. As far as weaknesses go, there's a couple we identified. First off, awareness among students. Most students that we found were largely unaware of the association or what it does. Likes on Facebook, when we look at the number of alumni, the 60,000 that are currently living, and the current students at UMD, we think that the 1,600 mark is a little bit low for that. We'd like to improve upon that. As far as engagement is concerned, engagement and awareness kind of go together. If they're not aware of it, they can't engage, so we see that kind of void between students and alumni and that engagement factor. And then lastly, search engine optimization. We think you guys are doing pretty good in this area, but there's a couple tweaks that we'd like to make, and we're going to go through that in our recommendations. Now, as far as the competitive analysis goes, this is a little different because you guys aren't like a business selling products in the marketplace, that kind of thing. But we do identify an indirect competitor as the U of M Alumni Association, mainly because 30% of our alumni do reside in the Twin Cities, and they might confuse this alumni association with UMD's, perceiving them as a synonymous type organization when they really aren't. The UMD, or the U of M Alumni Association, operates in mainly the same social media channels, and they communicate in a pretty similar fashion on the web. They also have a well-built website, and they do charge dues for their members, as you can see above. When we look at direct competitors, this is a little bit different because within UMD there are the sub-alumni groups, especially online for each of these colleges. I know you guys are aware of those. And we perceive these as a direct competitor just because it might detract from the amount of people that you can rally together for an event. They're kind of segmented throughout the internet. So we see that as a competitor. We also identified the UMD Alumni Association itself as a competitor in the sense that if it fails to keep up with the pace of how their audience is communicating or not staying on track with their objectives, they may hinder their success. And that concludes the situational analysis. I'll pass it off to Tony.
And now I'm going to talk about the communication objectives. And our first one is that we would like to reach 5,000 likes on the Facebook page by the end of this campaign. The second one is we would like to raise visitations to the web page by 10%. And also we would like to create engagement to the web page, the Facebook page, and the association itself. And we will do this through the recommendations that we're going to talk about later in the presentation. We're going to move to brand character, and we would like everybody to see the UMD Alumni Association as fostering a spirit of loyalty, involvement, and lifelong commitment. And we'd like current alumni to view it as a place to connect to UMD, connect to their old friends and classmates, and to share their stories and accomplishments. We would like current students to view it as a resource to connect with current alumni, to get help and good advice on what classes they should take and what they should do to graduate on time and what they should do after graduation. So that's our communication objectives. I'll pass it to Chris for our target audience.
We're getting into our target audience. Our primary target audience is going to be the current students of the University of Minnesota Duluth. The reason we picked this group as our primary target audience is because in our various secondary research, we found that this is where most alumni associations trip up. They don't engage their students early enough, and their students are within an arm's reach of talking to them and telling them what the association's about and what benefits they can have while they're in school and if they're out of school. Why not engage them early when they're there, when you can talk to them at an arm's length and try to pull them back in after they already leave. It can be broken up a little bit into class, most of all as being the senior class, followed by the freshman class. Each year, it's going to be about 2,000 members, a little over 2,000 members entering into the Alumni Association. It can further be broken down into what colleges they're in. Most of all, the Swenson College has the most with a little over 3,000. The age range for these students are 18 to 24. They're millennials and in UMD. A little bit about the attitudes and beliefs of millennials. They celebrate diversity, they're optimistic, they're confident, they love teamwork, big push in school, and they're really technology driven, where 78% of them are getting their content from the web and engaging with others on the web. Here's a fictitious average person at UMD, Steve, we like to call him. He's a sophomore, taking 15 credits and is a part-time student. He loves his classes, loves his professors, sometimes find the workload a little bit challenging. Most recently, he's been talking with his dad about the need for networking, talking with people just to engage with and further his career later on down the road. He's not really sure what the UMD Alumni Association is or what it could benefit him for, but he's really interested in learning, and every time he gets a chance to meet a speaker on campus, he'll introduce himself and say his name, but he doesn't really know where to go from there. Moving on to our secondary target audience, we like to target ages 25 to 34 and 35 to 44. The reason we targeted this group was because it's a big chunk of our Alumni Association right now, right around 25,000, and they're the most frequent on the web among any other age group, including our primary target market. This can be broken up into 60% of them reside in Minnesota still, while almost 27% of them are in the Twin Cities area. And there's other pockets around the United States that they reside in, but mostly in Minnesota and the Twin Cities specifically. Their age groups are 25 to 44, as we had said, as a wide range, and then they're primarily Generation X, which a couple of them fall still within the millennials because they're still on the younger side, but for the most part they're going to be Generation X. People that have graduated from UMD that are either postgraduate or they're in a profession right now. A couple of their attitudes and beliefs, they really look out for themselves type attitudes. They're independent people, more conservative as well, and they like to hold on to tradition. Next, we'd like you to meet our fictitious average alumni, Lisa. She's 38 years old. She graduated in 1995, right out of college. She got an internship down in Chicago. She spent 5 years there at an ad agency. Most recently, moved back to Twin Cities as a sales manager for Coca-Cola. Now she's been reviewing her life, thinking about what got her to the place she is today. And the number one thing she thinks about is the University of Minnesota Duluth. She thinks back to when she was in the seats of the kids and how difficult it was to talk to people, to find a job, and and she just wants to give back. That's our target audience. Pass it back to Joe.
All right, as far as positioning goes, we would like to position the UMD Alumni Association using a dual strategy. We have two markets, two audiences. We have the students and we have the current alumni. So first off, to position the Alumni Association with our primary audience, which is students, we would like to position the Alumni Association as a provider of resources, information, and professional connections for students who are looking for an opportunity to learn more about themselves and professional career opportunities, what the alumni are doing out in the real world. And we want the UMD Alumni Association to be that platform for engagement so that making connections is simple and productive. And going to our secondary audience, current alumni, we would like to position the UMD Alumni Association as a provider of resources, benefits, information, networks, and human connections for alumni that are looking to get engaged in ways that other organizations don't allow them to. And so the Alumni Association would be that platform where they could engage with students and the community and each other, so that making connections is also simple and productive. The key messages that we would like both of these audiences to receive. First off, for students, we want them to really know that the Alumni Association provides them an opportunity to learn, not only about themselves, but about career options and postgraduate stories of alumni. And for alumni, we want them to really know that they can reconnect and engage without donating financially. Now, to get to our recommendations. To start off, our first recommendation deals with search engine optimization and social media optimization. We did say that you guys are pretty strong in this area, so we commend you on that. However, we do have a few tweaks we'd like to propose for you. First off is the title tag on the UMD Alumni webpage. And the title tag is displayed in the top of the browser window. And it was also the text link in a Google search. It lights up as blue. Currently, the title tag is just UMD Alumni. And we would like to recommend that you change this to UMD Alumni dash, and then you type out the entire University of Minnesota Duluth Alumni Association. The reason we propose this is because most of the major bots that crawl through the internet for the search engines looking for keywords, they crawl the title tag, and that's weighted pretty heavily in search rankings. So small tweaks to your title tag can make a big difference when it actually comes to the search engine optimization. For an example of this would be a Google search that we did on the UMD Alumni Association. And as you can see, we typed in UMD Alumni Association, and you guys come up number 5 on the list. Number 1 would be University of Maryland, and if you notice, they have their entire title typed out in full length. And that's just really nice for someone who's looking for this on Google, because they can read that and they know exactly what it is. Whereas if you look at UMD Alumni, someone might not know that that's the University of Minnesota Duluth, and it's not the association. You know, it's just a little more descriptive. So that's why we proposed that idea. Secondly, as far as social media optimization goes, here are 2 websites, LinkedIn and Facebook, which the association is active in both. And we did a search in both of these as UMD Alumni. And on the LinkedIn side of things, we came up number 5 again in the list. And in Facebook, typing in UMD Alumni, we didn't even see it on the first page. And so that's a big issue. And we believe the reason for this is because of the official in front of the title. So we would recommend removing the official from the title. And we do realize that this was probably put in place originally to differentiate yourselves from other copycat organizations out there. But when all is said and done, it's actually hurting search engine results, because people who just have their groups titled UMD Alumni or University of Minnesota Duluth Alumni are ranking higher than ours just because of that official. So we would recommend doing that. Another example of this would be if you type in Minnesota Alumni, the University of Minnesota, they come up number 1, no questions about it. So just a simple descriptive title without the official, we would recommend that. And then as far as your web page goes, it does have the social media plugins, which is great. You guys are right on top of that. However, we would like to put a like button on the top of the page so that when someone navigates to this page and they're not familiar with it, they can just click that, and without opening any additional browser windows or executing a search, they can instantly be opting into your content feed on Facebook. So we feel this is a great way to increase that connection between your multiple channels online. Also, you can display this like button with text underneath that tells how many of your friends have liked it and how many people total, so you can kind of get that social proof factor to play into it. Also, we would like to implement the like button in all of your email blasts that you send out to members, because if they open up your email but they aren't aware of your web page or your Facebook, they can simply click that and they'll be instantly connected. We would recommend doing that.
Moving on to our second recommendation, when we first had a chance to talk with you guys, you said you really wanted to increase your awareness towards your website page, increase the website viewership. But if there was a place that already had over 500 million users, that over 93% of both of our target audiences were already using and spending 1 out of every 8 minutes that they're online on the site, we'd really enjoy just utilizing this instead, which would in turn drive traffic to your website. And this is Facebook, and we are using it already, but we'd like to utilize it a little bit more. We'd already had the discussion with you how Iowa and Nebraska use theirs. They're lowest in the Big Ten in Facebook likes, and they want to get their content out in the same way. They want to utilize it that way. And they had a contest between the football teams, and both of them rose 30,000 members, which we had talked about earlier. And figured they can do it, why can't we? We don't quite have the football fan base, nor the hockey fan base for that matter, as much as the Big Ten football, so we're going to have to go about it a little bit differently, but the idea is something that we really liked. We found that in an age group of 18 to 24, only 7% of them are going to like a page unless you give them some sort of incentive to. So we thought we need to attack the other 93%. And so we went around and asked, what would you like in return for liking the page? We had various ideas. One that we came up with was a coupon for the UMD stores. This is just an example of one. We had talked with Terry Glenman, who's the marketing manager down at the stores. She had said that she would talk to you guys, be willing to talk about any length of discount once they click the like button, the discount will pop up, and you can contact her at either her number or her email to further talk to her about the discount. The like button, once you press it, it won't pop up. The coupon won't actually pop up until you install the iframe, which we've provided a link to an easy YouTube video that actually shows you step by step. It's a little bit of a lengthier process than we have now to present to you, but it's probably 5 different steps that you just click a couple buttons in your Facebook settings, and this will enable you to put in the coupon, so every time somebody likes it, the coupon will pop up, a printable version for them to use. We also suggest that you hang up the posters in the hallways of UMD store of UMD to advertise it. Something like this poster, just asking people how they're saving money to catch their eye, hang them around the library and other high trafficked areas such as a dining center would be a great place for people to see them, and in turn they think, you know, I need to save money, how can I do it? Look and see, they might go and like the Facebook page. We also suggest that you post posters in the Statesman ad, and this is going to increase viewership because there are thousands of our target market already using the Statesman. They read it every day. There's thousands of eyeballs on it, so it's an easy way to engage them and have them look at it. We can do this is contacting Allie Clean. She's a advertising manager. You can just contact her through her school email address, and she's willing to set up an ad in the paper. Get around that twice a month, and it's going to increase engagement very well. The reason we thought of this idea was because other major schools have had a lot of success through it. We thought, why can't we? And we have to go about it a little differently, but we think it's going to be just as equally as successful. So back to Joe for third recommendation.
All right, in order to increase online engagement between the UMD Alumni Association and its alumni, we would recommend implementing some sort of contest, like a tagline contest. And what this would do is you could either set up an event where you invite all your members to, and once they become members to that event, they can submit their entries for a new tagline, or you could utilize one of these 2 social media managers. They do cost money, but they are programs that can manage all of your promotions across multiple social media channels. So that might work out better for you guys if you didn't have the time to make the event yourselves. But we figured this was a good idea because we do like the We Connect You tagline. However, you know, implementing a contest where your actual alumni feel that they're taking part in creating something new for the organization, that just increases their higher level of involvement, as well as giving you guys kind of like a unique peer inside of how they position the Alumni Association. So it's kind of serving 2 purposes there. For this contest, we found that your webpage on Facebook, the most popular age group that views that webpage is the 35 through 44-year-olds, as well as we found that Yahoo published an article that for people coming to their website, viewing it on iPads, the most popular age group is also 35 through 44. So those 2 age groups align. And we feel that if you were to offer a prize as an incentive for this contest, putting up an iPad to the winner's tagline would be a perfect synonymous prize because of the age groups lining up. So in order to do that, you would talk to Terry Glenvin as well. She would be willing to speak with you guys at the UMD school stores about this. We did set up a budget for you guys. You gave us some information, and this iPad purchase will come out of that budget, which we will get to later. So.
Our 4th recommendation is an Alumni of the Month spotlight. This is a really cool idea to give alumni a chance to share their stories and accomplishments. They could submit a file which would be posted on the Alumni Association webpage with a link on the Facebook page and also a column in the Statesman. And this would just allow them to tell current students and other alumni where they are in life right now, like what job they have, how they got there, if they have a family, if they have any special projects going, or anything else that they want people to know. And so for the web page, it would be on a separate page, but you could advertise it right here in this box, and that would just create awareness of it and get people going right away. We also recommend you choose your first Alumni of the Month instead of waiting for files to be submitted. This way it'll get it rolling and create awareness and engagement. And like I said, that can be advertised right there and on the Facebook page, which I'm going to talk about. Facebook is very large network where tons of people are going to be seeing it, and if they see that we have Alumni of the Month every month, and they like the idea, it's gonna drive revisits to the web page and the Facebook page, and that's the whole idea of putting it on Facebook, is connecting it to that whole network of people who will see it.